Hey, I'm Chris, and this is my wife Lonnie, and we love The Walking Dead.
And tonight we're going to be discussing the Comic-Con trailer of The Walking Dead Season 5.
We're also going to be comparing the comic book with what's going on, so there's a bit of a spoiler alert here.
Yes.
We could be predicting what is happening in the TV show and not even knowing it. So if you don't want to know some plot details from the comic book that are very impressive, I gotta say,
yes,
you may not want to watch this. Watch it anyway.
And give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, so the combination that we're looking at here is from the trade, volume 11, which is issues
61 to 66.
And things start to sync up here. So at the very beginning of the trailer, Rick says, you're screwing with the wrong people. So just to show you here, it's the same kind of deal, but he drops the F-bomb, of course, and there's that shot right there. That's awesome. That's really cool. And I guess there was a debate on whether they should use that line.
Yes, and they just obviously decided not to go with that. So it would have been more impactful if he...
F-bomb is always more impactful. But they talk about that on The Walking Dead, if I remember correctly, right?
Talking Dead, yes.
Talking Dead. They talked about The Walking Dead on The Talking Dead in that segment. They were discussing that they could have changed that lineup. So that's how that starts out. But I don't know, their escape didn't work out, I don't think.
No, it looks like in the trailer that obviously Gareth's group captures them. And there's a scene where they're all lined up, getting ready to be butchered, especially Glenn there.
It looks like, especially Glenn, because they show Glenn, and there was lots of rumors in the off-season that Glenn was going to be eliminated from the show, but I don't think so.
I don't want to hear.
No, nobody wants Glenn to go. But you see him later on, after when they show more scenes of the trailer when they left Terminus. He's still around, so he doesn't get it. But it looks like Bob, of all people, stops everything.
Yes, who knew? The alcoholic Bob pleads with Gareth and say, look, we have the cure, we just got to take this guy, Eugene, to Washington. And Garrett's like, okay, I will let you go, but...
Well, it looks like that's what goes on anyway, right? And him and Rick square off a bit, I love that.
Yeah. And I think the whole plan is Gareth's group's going to be following Rick's group from a distance.
Right.
Because you can see that they are going to be going to, which coincides with the comic book, that once Rick's group leaves, they end up finding the church, or someone's leading them to the church.
And that brings in a new character.
Father Gabriel.
Yeah, who in the comic book, he just walks up on them. All of a sudden, here's this father, hey guys, how you doing? And in the comic book, they're just like, what the F are you doing here? And they get his story, Father Gabriel's story about how he's still alive. Like, seriously, how are you just walking out here alive? And they're like, we don't effing believe you. You're lying. So such an even playing field in this world. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you may be a man of God, but that doesn't mean anything in this situation. You could still be lying.
Again, the whole concept of The Walking Dead is morals, right?
A side story they don't bring in at this point, but we do see that they're all together again, is Carol.
Oh, yes.
And Tyrese and baby Judith there, right? Like, we do get reunited.
Yes.
But we don't know how. They don't show how that will happen.
Although they do show a quick glimpse of Carol as a walker.
Yeah, at least that's the rumor on the internet. If you freeze it down and look at it like we have.
It's a short hair with a poncho. You'll see it.
So, yeah. So the rumor is that she's zombified herself to kind of slip in with everybody, right?
Yes.
But we don't know how they all got together, if there was a fight that broke out. Or
she helps them kind of escape.
We don't know what happens there. I don't know.
But it's good to see that they're all going to be reunited.
Yes, we're reunited and it feels so good. Everybody's going to be back together, right? So anyway, the Terminus group looks like they join up with Rick's group. And the animosity, though, between Rick and Gareth is awesome. I love that. So I think there was two things that we thought about this. I thought that Rick is going to be a serious badass in this season. I think you're going to see like Rick just kind of like, is he saying this is my family? I think you're going to really see him step up to be just making decisions that are, boom.
Yes.
Quick, effective, and follows them through.
Yes.
And then you had an interesting point too, and what you thought about the trailer.
Oh yes, because the fact that the comic series of this whole event with the Terminus people, or the Hunters, it only happens in 5 issues.
It's quick.
It's good.
5 issues isn't a long comic book life if you're not a big comic book reader.
No. And the fact that the producer said, or the writer said, that there's going to be multiple locations. So, I mean, we've only seen 2 in the trailer, which is the church and Terminus.
Yeah, basically. the in-betweens outside are everywhere, right? So it was almost like the same railroad track kind of scene over again.
Exactly. But it's going to be definitely exciting to see the face-off between Rick and Gareth.
Yes, that'll be great. Now, technically, there's a little glimpse of Father Gabriel crying. It's really quick. Again, if you freeze it down, or slow it down, you'll see him there crying. Now, this is where, because you don't really know what's going to happen next, right? This is kind of, we've set the stage of the trailer thus far.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to pick up with what happened in the comic book and how this may coincide with the show and how cool it would be. So let's see what really happens out of this. So, Father Gabriel is the new character. The Terminus group are in the scene as well. Now, in the comic book, they were slowly picking off members of Rick's family. And also, who's still alive here at this point?
Dale.
Dale is still alive at this point, all right? So he's out taking a leak in the woods.
With his one leg,
Yeah, he only has one leg at this point in the comic book, so, you know. So the Terminus group, the Hunters, they capture him.
Yes. And
they bring him back to their camp.
Yeah, and they knock him unconscious, and all of a sudden he wakes up, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And he's looking down at his leg, his only leg that's gone now. And he looks over to where it's like bonfire, and people are sitting and eating, and he's like, they're eating my leg.
Yeah, there's Gareth and the crew from Terminus, the Hunters in the comic book, and they're eating him. And he wakes up to see this, right? And of course it's the same thing, you know, it's nothing against you, this is just the way it is. It's the exact same kind of lingo that they use, the Terminus people use, the Hunters say the same thing. Like Gareth is the same kind of character in there, the same guy, Gareth. And so Dale starts laughing at them. And they're like, you're laughing? We're eating you? Like, what is going on? And Dale's like, I'm infected. You are eating tainted meat.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Spitting it out.
That was great.
How cool is that? That was pretty rad. Now that can't happen because Dale is not alive.
No.
But maybe we'll supplement another character. The way that Rick finishes off the Terminus crew, the Hunters in the comic book, is fabulous. This was really
It's very
cool.
brutal, and
it's also the first glimpse that Father Gabriel, new character, gets of the group, the Rick's family, right? So what happens is Rick goes in to the camp, or to where the Terminus Hunters are. Just walks right in there
right
to
in
them.
by himself. But he did tell Abraham and Michonne to stay back into the woods. He's going to go out there and talk to them himself. And when he gives the signal...
Yeah, let her rip. So he just strolls right into the camp. They don't even know. And they turn around like, what are you doing? You think you just walk in there? And Rick's like, yeah, you're hunting my people. Stop. And he says to Gareth, will you stop?
And Gareth, of course, says it's nothing personal. And
I'm not going to stop.
And he's telling him, too, that, you know, once they got overeating their own kids, eating strangers is a lot easier. And that was pretty gross.
Yeah. So that's what Gareth is saying to Rick. So Rick's like, all right, here's the thing. We're going to take you out then. And he just signals.
Yeah. And,
Sniper takes out one of their ears. Oh my gosh! Rick's just like, yeah, that just happened.
Yeah.
Gareth points his finger at him saying, you can't do that. Another sniper shot takes Gareth's finger off.
Yeah.
Rick's like, yeah. Come here, guys. Abraham comes out, Michonne comes out, everybody comes out, starts taking their guns from them. Now, they've round up the Terminus crew, the Hunters. They have their guns. They're at the mercy of Rick's group. The father is there, and he's like, okay, we're going to let these people go, right? Like, you know, Gareth is begging him, let us go, just walk away. Rick says, you wouldn't have did that for us. So Rick says, no, pin him down. Now, they don't show, per se, the violence in the comic. They show the weapons of the individual people, like Michonne's sword, you know what I mean? Oh my god! And Rick is missing a hand in the comic book as well. I don't know if you noticed when I held that splash page up. So they brutally annihilate
everyone,
all the Terminus people, the Hunters, and Father Gabriel is just like. So that's his first glimpse of his new family, his new group.
Yeah, because he sheltered himself.
He did. Well, Father Gabriel, his story, and when he's crying, I think. That was him telling Rick, okay, here's what happened. Because Rick was like, tell us the real story. Tell us what really happened. And what happened was...
basically, when the whole thing went down, he locked himself in the church. And all these people were coming to the church, all the, you know, the members and stuff, like, let us in, please help us, help us. Right? Yeah.
And he was on the other side of the door.
And he wouldn't let them in. So he ended up watching them all get slaughtered and eaten.
Or hearing them anyway. I guess they peeked out the window, huh? Oh
probably,
my gosh.
You know.
So that's his story. So he's not, you know... He's not as clean as he thinks he is.
No.
but did not like his first taste of Rick's decision making either. You could tell that he's not really keen with Rick's leadership.
No.
So that's what's happened so far in the comic book there, and maybe that will bleed over into it. Other side stories are, how's Carol going to fade back in? Is that going to be brought up, you know, that Rick told her to leave? Because nobody knows about that.
I don't think so. I think, you know, they had enough time.
Yeah. So so there's a couple of the things there's a lot of stuff they didn't show in the trailer there.
Yes.
But there's what we think might have happened, and we're looking forward to more of it. We've really been reading tons of the comic book.
Yes.
Diving in, not just the trade though. We're collecting the originals there.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're up to the lowest one we got is, I think the lowest number we have is issue number 10.
Yes. Yes.
That's pretty low, dudes. That's all right. That's all right.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in and watching. We got lots more Walking Dead stuff coming in. We're very excited to see the new season come in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Isn't that rad?
Counting down the days.
Yay! And Halloween's coming too. So we got some other cool stuff from the folks at Hauntopolis.
Yeah.
Really
I can't
rad
wait to
stuff.
review that magazine. And
Yeah.
all the stuff that they got going on.
Because Halloween is coming. Let's get creepy. I'm Chris. Thanks for checking out the show.
No.
This is Lonnie.